Please welcome Vic Mignogna!
Hey everybody, how are you? Oh my living Lord, have mercy. This is too cool! Hi everybody, how are you enjoying the day? Wait, before we start, I was told that we're supposed to take a picture. So I'm gonna turn around and somebody's gonna come out here and they're gonna take a picture because I need to capture this moment. You guys, just keep doing what you're doing. Pull out the cell phones. Let's work the, I'd like to teach the world to sing. All right,
guys. On the count of 3, we're gonna go nuts. Get those lights up. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
That was so easy. You guys are naturals. Now, how many of you have no freaking clue why you're in this room right now? Thank you, sir. Thanks for your honesty. Security? My name is Vic Mignogna. Don't even look at it printing. It's scary, like you would never figure it out. But it's like tomorrow in Spanish. But we're on a first name basis now, so you call me Vic, all right? And I am so happy to be here. I'm a voice actor. For those of you... You're getting me right here, you know that? You're getting to my heart. I'm a voice actor for over 300 different animated series and video games. In other words, I'm very old. But I gotta tell you, my favorite thing that I'm a part of is my childhood passion project. Since I was a little boy, it was all about the original series of Star Trek. You guys don't even want to know. I drove my mother insane being obsessed with the original series of Star Trek. She used to call it Star Trash. Because I made her crazy. I would sew my own costumes, I would round the kids in the neighborhood up and make my own little Star Trek movies where I, of course, played Captain Kirk. And so I was obsessed. I would record the episodes every day on a little cassette recorder. I know half of you are like, what's a cassette? And then I would put it under my pillow at night, and I would go to sleep listening to the episodes. Obsessed. Obsessed. So fast forward many, many years, and I started a web series called Star Trek Continues. It looks and feels and sounds exactly like the original. Had the original never been canceled in the late 60s, what would the 4th year and the 5th year have looked like? So this is what we've done. There are 6 episodes online. They're all free to watch. This is a labor of love. It is not about money or profit. It's pure passion project. And I am fulfilling my childhood dream of getting to play Captain Kirk. Take this opportunity to personally invite you tomorrow evening. If you don't know, we are premiering, world premiere of episode 7 of Star Trek Continues here at Salt Lake Comic-Con for you. And I would be so honored if you guys would join us. Can we make a little pact here? I promise you'll enjoy it. And if you don't, it'll be too late because you already came. But we have over 5 million views worldwide. We've won over a dozen awards, and I love Salt Lake City. Salt Lake Comic-Con, Dan Farr and Randy and Tiffany and all the people that put this show on. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I love it so much. I can't even tell you. I do so many conventions. And I was just downstairs telling some of the other guests that have never been here before about how amazing this show is, how amazing the attendees are, and what a wonderful spirit there is here. And I do a lot of shows, so trust me when I tell you, you guys are really about as good as it gets. So thank you for being here. Now, can I just be honest about something? I'm a little embarrassed right now. This morning, I was in my hotel room. I get out of the shower, and I'm deciding what I'm going to wear today. And I look at I brought like 4 or 5 different outfits, right? Not for today, for the whole weekend. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what did I not wear last year? You know where this is going, don't you? And so I put this on, and I went to my autograph table, and like the second person who came up goes, I saw you last year, and this is a picture we took, and I'm wearing the same thing. So I'm just going to do the rest of the panel like this, all right? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you a long time. So I know we have a microphone here. I'm sure we'll be taking some questions. I'm working on a lot of new things right now. I know that a lot of you are fans of the show that I just was finally permitted to announce that I'm playing a role in, and that's Fairy Tale. Okay, now you're giving me a little bit of a complex. I have been wanting to be a part of Fairy Tale for so long. Every time I see Todd, and Todd plays Spock in my series, right? Every time I see him, I'm like, Todd, when are you going to tell the director to put me in Fairy Tale? And Todd says, I don't know, sometime. So, that sounded just like him, and you know it. So I'm so very excited to be a part of Fairy Tale. I'm also working on Digimon, and I made a whole list of shows. There are about 40. But I'm not going to read it because I only have 36, 57, 56, 55. Crap, I'm running out of time. So, Book of Black Butler. A lot of shows. Durarara. Oh my gosh, are there any Ruby fans in here? I love Uncle Crow. I love Uncle Crow a lot. Working on a lot of things in the Star Trek series, keeping busy, but very, very happy to be here with you guys. Who has a question? If you have a question, you see this microphone that is so beautifully bathed in this spotlight right here? Uh-oh, it's starting with a Dragon Ball Z guy. This is not going to go well already, I'm scared. Now, you know that Broly is the best, right? Can we all agree that Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, is the baddest of the bad? Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, wussies. Broly is the king. What's your question, man?
How do you get yourself accustomed from going from character to character to character, and how do you prepare to do that and keep all your characters perfectly in line?
I don't know. You know what? The good thing is that you don't usually record more than one character on one day. Like, you don't do one guy and then an hour later you're doing someone else, an hour later you're playing another role. It's really, you spend a day doing it. And the other good thing is once you play a character for a while, he kind of sinks in, you know? At the very beginning, when you start a series, after, let's say if you just did one recording session, and then you went off and you did 15 or 20 other shows, and then you came back. This is the coolest thing, by the way. So awesome. It's like, never mind the crane that's coming behind you. I love it. When you do a show for the first time, if you go off and do a lot of other things, when you come back, you may forget what you did. Like, what did this guy sound like? And they'll usually pull a piece of audio from the last time you recorded, and they'll play it as a reference. But like when you do a show like Full Metal Alchemist for a while, just for my own sanity, can I say that again and then you scream louder than you screamed when I said fairy tale? For instance, when I played Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist, I love you guys so much. Hey, what are you guys doing over there? Are you waiting for questions? Check that out. They want a piece of you, man. I would say that when you start out, the studio will play you a reference line to remind you what you did. But as you get into it, you kind of connect with the character, and you start to be able to kind of keep them separate in your mind. It would be really scary if Broly's voice came out of Edward Elric. That would be bad. Thanks, man. Yes.
Hi. How did you
Nice shirt, dude.
Thank you.
Ruby shirt.
It's a bit worn out, and I had several others, but they were all in the wash.
Way to wear the clean one. Good choice.
So how did you get involved with Rooster Teeth Productions, and what was it like working with them?
You know what? I was doing a convention, not as cool as this one, in Australia. Down under. Right? And it was a great show. And the Rooster Teeth people were at the show. They were at the convention. And they came up to me and they said, hey, we really like your work, and we have this show that we do called Ruby. And I was like, huh. And they showed me an iPad with like images of the artwork. And I was like, wow, this is really good. Really nice. And we traded information, and a few weeks after we got back from Australia, they dropped me an email and they said, would you like to play a role in this show? And I was like, sure. And so that's how I got started with them. And season 4, they just sent me all the scripts for season 4. You Ruby fans out there, season 4 is coming, and I'm very excited about it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Hi.
My question for you is, a number of years ago, you did an unofficial commercial video for World of Warcraft. And I was wondering, did that have any influence on you eventually doing some voice work for Warlords of Draenor?
Not a bit. I thought it would. No. Okay, can I tell you the story about that? So, this wonderful girl named Mandy, who runs my fan club, my online fan club, called me one day and said, hey, did you see William Shatner did this World of Warcraft commercial? And I was like, William Shatner? What is World of Warcraft? What? And so I went online and I saw it, and it was like a high angle shot. Let's cut to this camera here. Right? All right, that's good, that's good. So he's like, I'm William Shatner, and I'm a wizard. And like it went into the big commercial. And it was just him standing in a white room. You remember the World of Warcraft commercials? And then I started looking around and I saw that all of these different people did them. And I thought, I should do one. I'll just do it myself. Because like I'm nobody. Nobody cares. Like World of Warcraft, Blizzard, they don't care if I do one. So I just did one. And I put it out online for fun. And then I started getting auditions for World of Warcraft. But what's funny is that I would never get cast. And at one point, I even said to my manager who was submitting the auditions, I said, have they seen my commercial? Because a lot of people saw it, and like I'm like promoting their game, and he called me back one day and he goes, yeah, they saw it. So I guess that's not good. I guess. Anyway, so I gotta tell you something funny about World of Warcraft. I ended up playing a character. Anybody World of Warcraft in here? Okay, here's the funny part about the character I played in World of Warcraft. The character's name is Ner'zhul. Do you know who this is? He's this big, huge, low-voiced leader of the orcs. He doesn't sound like this. And every time I would audition, I must have auditioned for a dozen characters for World of Warcraft. And every time I would audition for one, I would think, oh, this was, like sometimes it would be one that I didn't think I will ever get in a million years, you know? And like, it's not my sound. There are 100 people that are gonna be better at this than me. And I would never get those. But every once in a while I would do one, and I would be like, oh, I've got this. I can do good with this. And then I wouldn't get those either. So after like a dozen auditions, I got an audition for this character, Ner'zhul. And I looked at him, and he's like freaking 15 feet tall, big, huge, right? And I'm like, why do they keep sending me these characters that are not my voice? So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do my very best. I'm gonna do it as low as I can. But it still wasn't that low. So after I recorded the audition, I thought, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to use my magic pitch shifting software, and I'm gonna drop it down 2 semitones. Now for those of you that are musicians, 2 semitones is a lot. And I sent it in. And my manager called me and he goes, finally, World of Warcraft cast you. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I went into the studio to record. And I walked in and the producer's sitting there and hi, Vic Mignogna. And she goes, and in my heart I'm like, you idiot, you just ruined it. Because I don't sound like the audition. Now I did tell them in the audition that I pitched it down. But I don't know if that information got to her. Right? It had to go through several channels. So did it get to her? I don't know. So I said to her, now I know I don't sound like Ner'zhul, but I pitched it down. You know that, right? And she said, oh yeah, that's what we loved about it. The pitching down digitally gave it kind of an inhuman quality. Cool, right? Like, he's an orc, so he's not a normal human. So when I pitched it down, it did something just a little weird to make it not quite a low-voiced human. And that's the reason that I got cast in the first place. So that's my World of Warcraft story. I love you. Thank you. Hey, man.
Hi, I'm a really big fan of your work.
I'm a big fan of your hat.
Thank you.
I love it. What's your name?
Justin.
Justin, do you sing at all? A little bit? Listen to this freaking room, bro. This is the kind of room you want to sing in, right? What are some songs you like?
I don't know.
I love that song. I don't know. Is that how it goes? I don't know. I don't know where you live. I don't know where you got that hat. But I'm coming after that hat. That's a song I just wrote for you called Goodbye Hat. What is your question? What is wrong with me? I don't even know. What is your question?
what's your favorite anime?
Yikes. Me? You really got him riled up now. Did you hear that? They're gonna kill you. You better run. You mean that I've ever worked on? Or like favorite of all time ever? You know what? How old are you? When I was your age. Why is that funny? I was his age once. Granted, dinosaurs walked the earth, but I was his age once. When I was your age, I loved Speed Racer. But here's the cool thing, bro. I didn't know it was anime. All I knew was, hey, this doesn't look like Scooby-Doo. And I'd listen to it and I'd be like, hey, this doesn't sound like Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour. But I liked it, you know what I mean? There was something different about it. Had no idea. And my friend Wayne and I used to run around, when I was your age, we would run around imitating the characters from Speed Racer. Who would have ever guessed that 45 years later, okay, 40 years later, I would be an anime voice actor. Had no idea. Kimba the White Lion, does anyone remember Kimba? Kimba the White Lion? You're good with this thing, by the way, bro. You're good with this. I'm serious. These things are hard to run, you guys. I work in production, and jib cams are really hard to run. Give it up for this gentleman right here. So, like, all of these shows that I liked when I was a little kid were anime, and I had no idea. So, you know, what a thrill, you know? In fact, can I tell you a story? So, a few years back, there was an anime awards program. Does anyone remember the American Anime Awards? I don't even remember, 4 or 5 years ago, a company organized the American Anime Awards, first annual. And they wanted it to be kind of an Academy Awards of anime. So I was nominated that year for Best Actor for Full Metal. But I was also nominated for Best Actor for Macross. Anybody remember Macross? Anybody remember Robotech? Macross is Robotech. It's like, that was what it was based on. So, I was nominated, and like the top 5 people got to go to New York, and they had the big awards ceremony in this theater in New York City. And it was televised, and they had the statues, and I mean, it was like, you know, like a full-on award show. So I find my seat in this theater, and I sit down, and there's a really nice elderly gentleman sitting beside me. I don't know who he is, but we start chatting. Really nice guy. We get partway into the Anime Awards ceremony, and at the appropriate moment, they presented the Lifetime Achievement Award. And they said, "This man has been involved in anime for 35 years, spanning of over 100 voices, but perhaps best known as the voice of Speed Racer. The Lifetime Achievement," and the guy beside me stands up. Fanboy! So he goes up and gets his award, and it was the coolest thing. It was like it looked like the Oscar, but it was a mecha. It was a mech. It was awesome. Really cool. He brings it back down and sits down in the chair beside me, and I'm like... And he shows me his award, and I'm looking at it, and inside I'm thinking, that's the guy right there. 10 minutes later, they're presenting the award for Best Actor. And I was blessed enough to win as Best Actor. So I went on stage and I got my statue, and I came back down and sat by him and showed him my statue. Can you even imagine? Like, when I was your age, I was listening to him and loving what he was doing. And there would have never been a prayer of a clue, of a dream, of a hope that one day, not only would I sit beside him, but I would sit beside him as a peer, as a voice actor peer, and that we would both be receiving awards for our work in anime. Isn't that amazing? You know what this goes to show you? Can I just say something serious? And I'm glad you're here because you inspired this moment, my friend. You never know what tomorrow brings. No matter how bad a day you have, I get emails from people that are going through difficult times and they're struggling and they want to give up. And I always write them and I say, you know that with every sunrise comes new possibilities. You have no idea what's just around the corner for you. So, I would have never imagined that my life would go the way that it has gone. But you guys out there that have dreams and hopes and aspirations, whether it be creatively or professionally or musically or whatever it is, don't ever think for 1 minute that there's no chance they're ever going to happen for you, okay? Because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. One of you could very well be standing on this stage 10 years from now, and you'll think back, you'll stand here just like me, and you'll be looking at these seats, and you'll think when you were sitting right there, and that Vic, whatever his weird last name was, said that you never know what the future's going to hold, and there you are. You know what I mean? So, stick with your dreams, you guys, all right? All right. I never imagined I would see Edward Elric showing cleavage. This is the star of the new anime series, The Full Frontal Alchemist. What is your quest? I'm sorry. What's your question, my dear? You look amazing, by the way. Your cosplay is freaking awesome. Thank you. Right? Yeah. All the people that just see your back, they're like, what's he talking about? What's he talking about? Yes, what is your question?
What is your favorite quote from Full Metal Brotherhood and why?
You know what? I have to tell you, there were so many wonderful things in that show that I loved. And that question reminds me of the day that I decided that Full Metal had to be my favorite anime voice acting experience ever. And I'm going to tell you, that show is so special. It's so unique. The characters are so endearing. The music, the animation, everything about it was just such a great production. And I've been involved in a lot of shows, and I love all of them. I love Oran High School. If God would grant me a wish, it would be for another season. But I have such a special place in my heart for Ed. Played the character for a very long time, right? When we got to I'll never forget, the last day of recording on Brotherhood. I was in the studio and the script was in a loose leaf binder. I'm turning the pages to get to my next line of dialogue, and suddenly I turned the page and I realized, last page. I'm like, I started getting tearing up, and I'm like, oh my God, this may be it. This would very well be the last word I ever say as Edward Elric. And I got really emotional about it. So much so that I actually took my phone out and I sat it on the window seal of the studio and recorded myself video doing the very, very last line, that little monologue that Ed says at the end as he's leaving on the train, leaving Winry on the train. Okay, do me a favor, okay? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to picture that moment, all right? Picture that moment when Ed's on the train, just left Winry. There's no such thing as equivalent exchange. It doesn't exist. Sacrifices are necessary. You can't gain anything without sacrificing something first. But if you can rise above that pain, you'll find that you have a heart strong enough to overcome any obstacle. Yeah. A heart made full metal. And it was over. And it was done. So in answer to your question, I would probably say that line probably meant the most to me. And now I see people at conventions literally that have tattooed a heart made full metal, or you know what I mean, or heart made full metal. So I would have to say that one. Thank you. Hi. Is that Una?
Yeah.
I knew it. What is your question, my dear?
I did notice that you touched on the Risen Bull Rangers earlier.
Yes, the greatest fan club ever.
I kind of wanted to bring it out. So
I'm glad you did. We have a fan club online called the Risen Bull Rangers. What is your name? Morgan, hi. I love you. And we have 23,000 members worldwide. And they're the greatest group, and basically they love all the things that you love. We've had people meet and become best friends in the Rangers. We've had people meet and get married to someone they met in the Rangers. It's the greatest thing, and a lot of the anime conventions I go to, we have like Ranger dinners and get-togethers, just wonderful, wonderful. So it's free to join, and if you're so inclined, please consider yourselves invited, and she's in it. So that's definitely a good thing. Thank you, sweetie. I love you. Thank you. Yeah, man.
So, when you were growing up and knowing how obsessed you were with Star Trek, I assumed that you were bullied in high school, and overcoming that, how did it help you voice Edward Elric?
Stop it. That was just a joke for him. You weren't supposed to see that. You know what? What's your name? Ian? I'm coming down there to talk to you, Ian. You know what? I was not bullied, but I'll tell you why not. Because I was also an athlete. I was one of those weird combinations, right? Where I'd play all the sports, and I was really good at the sports, but then at lunchtime, I would go sit with the nerds. Because I was a nerd. I'll tell you a secret. I'll never forget. I had a navy blue windbreaker, and I wanted so bad to sew a Star Trek emblem on the front of it because I'm a nerd, right? But I didn't want to get beat up. So you know what I did? I sewed it on the inside. Some of you walking around, what's up? Yeah, I'll see you at soccer practice this afternoon. Yeah, how about that home run I hit yesterday, right? Yeah, hey, what's up? Nice. And then I would get to my nerd friends and I'd be like, So I talk to people, and if I got the feeling that maybe they were nerds, I'd be like, and suddenly there was this connection. They're like, Star Trek, they loved it. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Sorry to get serious. I'm glad you asked about this, okay? As much as you are able to do this, have mercy and pity on people that bully other people. You know why? Because they hate themselves. They don't think they're worth anything. They think they are of no value. Bullies think they are of no value. And instead of trying to make themselves better at something or feel good about themselves, they try to tear you down. They try to hurt other people to make themselves seem better. And if you're able to do it, and it's not easy, but if you're able to do it, it's sad, isn't it? To think that somebody would think so little of themselves that they would hurt or insult or bash on other people just to try to make themselves feel important in some way. So just know that if anyone makes fun of you, it's because there's something about you that they feel is pretty cool. And it somehow hits them the wrong way, and they're just trying to make up for something they don't like about themselves. I was never bullied. I was lucky enough not to be, but I'll tell you guys something. I get hundreds of emails from people that are bullied. And you have to know the source, guys. You have to understand that if people bully you, it's because they wish they were you in some way, or they're trying to pull you down somehow, okay? Love will find you.
I can't sing right now.
Those chains that bind you.
Oh, I can't
One night. All right. I'm done. Go ahead.
Are you sure? Okay. Voice doesn't usually sound like this. I'm sorry.
We'll remind you. Just don't pull the gun, all right? I just noticed she's wearing a firearm. I shouldn't be doing that.
Don't tell me.
Yes.
So I know that you did a podcast a few years back, and you mentioned that you're a big fan of musical theater.
Oh, yeah.
So my question is, if you could be any character in any musical, who would it be?
You know, I actually got to do a lot of musical theater. I did a lot of shows when I was younger, and I loved it. I would love to do more of it. There are a lot of shows that I'd love to play a part in just because they were iconic. I'd love to be, oh my gosh, I would love to be in Les Miserables. And I'm sorry, but I would love to be in Phantom of the Opera. Let me be your freedom. You're safe, nothing can harm you. My words will warm and calm you. You know what's funny about, did you guys see the movie with, what's his name? Gerard Butler? When she finally pulls the mask off, I'm like, what the heck, bro? There's nothing wrong with your freaking face. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. The way this guy acts about, don't look at me, I'm a monster. And then he finally pulled the mask off. I thought it was going to look like, freaking pizza. You know what I mean? Something that would truly scare you, right? He pulled it off, and I'm like, dude, it's sunburn. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Boy, did I get off topic. You know what I'm dying to see? I'm dying to see. It's all the rage right now, and that's Hamilton. But you know what happens every time I go see a musical? I sit in the chair like this, right? Watching the show, and this is what I do. I white knuckle the arms of the chair. You know why? Because I want to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not content to sit there and watch it. I want to go be a part of it. So there are a lot of shows I'd love to do. But how many of you have ever done musical theater? If you have, then you know it takes a lot of time, doesn't it? It takes a lot of time to rehearse the show, and then to mount the show, and to perform the show for however many weeks. And unfortunately, my schedule doesn't allow that. So I would love to do more. Maybe one day I'll get to do more. What's your favorite musical? I was in Fiddler on the Roof. I did Fiddler on the Roof. I did Oliver. I did Camelot. I did Annie. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. No, I played Model the Tailor in Fiddler on the Roof. Wonder of wonders, miracle of miracles. Yeah. Okay, everyone in the room is like, please, can we get on to something else? Well, thank you. Thanks, sweetie. Yes, my dear. Uh-oh, my giant screen says 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Dadgummit, if I kicked this real hard, do you think anyone wouldn't mind? The timer went out. What was I supposed to do? Yes, my dear. What's your question?
Out of all the anime characters you've played, which one do you relate the most to and why?
I would love to say that I related the most to Tamaki. But that would be a lie. No, I love Tamaki a lot. But I will tell you, the one character that I related to most was very early in my career, and most people don't even know this show. Does anybody know an anime series called Princess Nine? It's about a girls' baseball team, a high school girls' baseball team, and I played the main boy in the show, who was the captain of the boys' baseball team, who falls in love with the captain of the girls' baseball team. Because I was an athlete, I played baseball, and I loved this guy's personality, I identified with him so much. You know what I did? I went to a sporting goods store in town, and I paid them to make me a baseball jersey that looked just like the one that my character wore in the show. Literally, it had the kanji letters sewn on the front, custom, had his name, Takasugi, on the back, and his number, and every time I went into the studio to record, I would wear it. So, yeah, I love that character a lot. But I'd like to think I'm more like Tamaki. I'm very old. Yes, my dear.
Do you have any tips for future people who would like to get into voice acting?
You know what? I have 1 minute or 2 minutes here left. 1 minute and 50 seconds. I'm glad you asked, because I know there are a lot of people that want to know about that. My guess is you're going to find that most voice actors will tell you the same thing that I'm about to tell you. The operative word in voice acting is acting. It's not voice. It's not sounding funny or being able to change your voice. It's about playing a character. At the end of the day, you're acting. You're acting a role. That's why all of those years of acting, ever since I was a little boy, and I watched Star Trek, and I wanted to go and audition for school plays, because I loved what William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and DeForest Kelley, what they were doing on that show. It moved me. And I wanted to be a part of something that moved people too. So I started acting because of Star Trek when I was 12 and 13, 14 years old. But I've spent my whole life developing acting skills. And almost every voice actor I know has a lot of experience in acting. Some of them have college degrees. You know what I mean? Like they've studied it and worked that craft. Voice acting is nothing more than acting without being seen. It's different than acting. If you think about it, there are a lot of skills that you may have as an actor on stage that you can take, that you can use to communicate a character that you can't use if you're a voice actor. If I were in a stage play, I could walk out here and my costume would immediately tell you something about me, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have to say a word. I wouldn't have to act. I wouldn't have to lift a finger. This would communicate. Then I have my gestures, right? And facial expressions. All of which you don't have as a voice actor. But if you're interested in voice acting, get as much experience as you can acting. Get involved in school plays. Get involved in church productions. Get involved in community theater. Anything to develop your skills as an actor. That's what I would encourage you to do. Okay? Thank you, sweetie. I have 2.5 minutes left, and in that time, I want to remind you all, please, you're invited to Star Trek Continues. Look in your program tomorrow night, episode 7. Even if you didn't know about it, if you want to come see me as a grown-up fulfilling my childhood dream, if you're like, I've just got to see this guy playing Captain Kirk, please come. Please come. We would be so honored. And the first 300 people who come, we have a poster, an episode poster that we'll be giving away for free. So look in your programs and please come. Now the second thing I want to tell you is that as soon as this panel is over, I'm going down to my autograph table for a little while longer, and I would love to meet as many of you as possible. I know there are a lot of like real celebrities down there, big celebrities. But I have to tell you guys something. I've been going to sci-fi conventions since I was a little kid. I went to Star Trek conventions, dressed in my little uniform. All my life I've been a part of conventions. And I am so blown away and humbled, there's no other word, humbled, by the enthusiasm and the support of the fans. So I always love it when they come down and all of the big celebrities that are, making tens of thousands of dollars this weekend can all look at the voice actors and go, wow, who is that guy? Who are all these people lined up for that guy? So I always love to tease them about that. But please come down and say hello. I would love to meet as many of you as possible. I'm here tomorrow all day as well, before our panel, our screening. And I just want you to know something. I never imagined in a million years that I would be able to get to do what I'm doing. And I am so profoundly grateful to God. I promised God that I would always give him credit for the good things that have happened in my life, that I don't feel like I really did anything to deserve. So I just want to say I promised him I would do it, and so I'm doing it right now. I am so grateful to him for the opportunity to do what I did. And I want you to hear me. I want you to hear my heart. I'm not trying to proselytize anybody. I'm not preaching. I'm not slapping you over the head with Bibles. I'm just sharing my heart with you. I'm sharing with you that I am so profoundly grateful to get to do what I do. And I want to give credit where I think credit is due. So, thank you guys for spending this hour with me. And I hope to see you all downstairs, either right after this or tomorrow. I love you guys. Thank you. Have a great weekend.